What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports 200 Show. On this video, I am live on YouTube, and on today's video, I will be doing a 7-round mock draft of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm doing a 7-round mock draft for every single team before free agency starts. I just got done doing some videos today of the Atlanta Falcons and the Cincinnati Bengals. So in this one, I will be doing a Philadelphia Eagles one of the 7-round mock draft. So we will go ahead and get started here. The first round, I have the Eagles taking Kyle Pitts. And, if Ja'Marr Chase is available here, I wouldn't be surprised at all, if the Eagles would take Chase. Last year they decided to take Jalen Reagor, the wide receiver from TCU, over Justin Jefferson. And I think they may, learn from their mistakes. And if Ja'Marr Chase is available here, I think they would get him. But at the same time, I do think there's a scenario where the Eagles may take Kyle Pitts as well, even if Ja'Marr Chase is available, because there have been reports that the Eagles may part ways from Zach Ertz, all-pro tight end. Been one of the better tight ends in the past 5 or 6 years or so, and they have Dallas Goedert. He's okay, but I've seen people say, why would you take Pitts at 6 when you have him? Why do you play with both of those tight ends for? Tight ends to me are very, very valuable. And Kyle Pitts, to me, he's one of my favorite draft prospects. He's in my top 5, he probably even in my top 3. Ja'Marr Chase or Kyle Pitts here would be fantastic. Either one. I do have them taking Pitts here, but either one of those guys, you're going to give Jalen Hurts or whoever the quarterback is, you're going to give him a great weapon to throw to, which he desperately needs. He doesn't have anybody to throw to right now. Carson Wentz didn't have anybody to throw to either, last year when he played. So I think Kyle Pitts here would be a really nice pick at number 6, but I would not be surprised if they took Ja'Marr Chase. Kyle Pitts, to me, to the Eagles, though, is a really, really under the radar, I think, sleeper pick in the top 10. Lots of people think, if Ja'Marr Chase is there, they're totally going to get him. I do think it's possible. Wouldn't be surprised, but watch out for Pitts in the first for going to Philadelphia. In the second round, the Eagles take guard Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. They need some offensive linemen. They weren't able to block for Carson Wentz at all. They weren't really able to block for, Jalen Hurts either, but he was able to, scramble out some plays that Carson Wentz was unable to. I think, Davis is probably the best guard in the draft. But I really doubt he'll be there. I think teams, like the Bengals, if he drops that far, I think the Bengals may get him. And I think the Chiefs may get him, in their first round pick. So Wyatt Davis here in the second round. So we are live on YouTube right now, heading into the third round pick for the Philadelphia Eagles 7-round mock draft. And they take Dylan Moses, the linebacker from Alabama. It's kind of crazy how, Dylan Moses, last season, heading into last season, he got out for the year, didn't play. And if he played, he would have been the first round pick. And, there was all hype around him. Could have been, one of the top linebackers coming out. But instead, he gets injured and he decides to come back. So, I've seen mock drafts him in the second or third round. And if he didn't get injured, he would have been definitely a first-round pick last season. But the Eagles, this is a fantastic pick here. They need some linebacker help. And Dylan Moses in the third is absolute steal. If you get him, he'll probably start right away. They did draft, Davion Taylor in the third round last year of the draft. It'll be interesting to see, what happens to him. And they also have some other young linebackers as well. But I really like Moses. I think he'll be an instant upgrade for the Eagles linebacker core. So as we go to the fifth round, the Eagles actually do not have a fourth round pick. So we go to the fifth round where they take cornerback Keith Taylor from Washington. For the past 3 or 4 years or so, Washington has produced some really, really nice corners like Byron Murphy, and some other good ones as well. I think Keith Taylor would be a good pick here. They can add some more secondary, depth. I think it would be a pretty good pick. Darius Slay is getting older, and Keith Taylor would be a good pick here. Somebody else to keep an eye on is Robert Rochelle from Central Arkansas. I've seen he's kind of been going up some draft boards some too. He played really well when they played North Dakota State and Trey Lance. But Keith Taylor in the 5th round here. As we go to the 5th round, I have them taking actually 2 tight ends. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I have them Pitts in the 1st round and Quentin Morris in the 5th. The Pitts, I mean, this is the 1st round was really a toss up. Actually, it was. I mean, just Pitts or Chase. In the 5th, I know they have Dallas Goedert, and it wouldn't really make sense to have Quentin Morris, Dallas Goedert, and Pitts. But, I mean, maybe they trade Dallas Goedert if they're going in full rebuild mode. Because I mean, there's been reports they could trade Ertz, they're going to trade Wentz, and maybe even get rid of Kelsey, the offensive lineman, as well. Quentin Morris, to me, is probably the biggest sleeper in the draft. And when you think of somebody like a George Kittle, who was a late round pick, who was really overlooked in the draft and is now probably the best tight end in the NFL, I think Quentin Morris is this year's Travis Kelsey. George Kittle. George Kittle didn't have great stats at Iowa. And Quentin Morris, he's really, really nice tight end coming out of Bowling Green. Had a great Senior Bowl week. Had a tremendous game in Senior Bowl, even jumping over hurdling over somebody. But when you watch his film, he doesn't get tons of catches. But I really like Quentin Morris. Whoever gets him, we're going to get a great tight end. So as we go to the 6th round, we take Anthony Schwartz, the wide receiver from Auburn. He's one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. And I know they took that route last season by taking Jalen Reagor, over Justin Jefferson. But I really like him. I mean, with their 1st round pick, you give Pitts or Chase. I mean, whichever one. I have Pitts here. And then you have, some other guys who, will be valuable later, maybe like Quentin Morris. And then you get Anthony Schwartz. You have 2 really, really speedsters, and him and Jalen Reagor. I think he would be a good pick there for Philadelphia. In the 7th round, I have them taking Ventrell Miller, the linebacker from the Eagles. I know I had them taking Dylan Moses, but they can use an extra linebacker. I mean, they have some young linebackers, but they just aren't really good. They didn't use Davion Taylor much at all, and he was their 3rd round pick. I had them taking, Dylan Moses. But Ventrell Miller, he led Florida in tackles this past season. It's a low risk, high reward type of situation. Not a guarantee to make the team, and it's not like if it doesn't work out, it's not like you're using your 1st or 2nd round pick on it or something like that. But that was kind of my 7th round mock draft of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll kind of recap this here again. In the 1st round, Kyle Pitts, but I wouldn't be surprised that's Ja'Marr Chase. That was actually a toss up, but I had that going to Pitts, White Davis in the 2nd, Dylan Moses in the 3rd, Keith Taylor, the corner from Washington, in the 5th, Quentin Morris, the tight end from Bowling Green, in the 5th, Anthony Schwartz, the wide receiver from Auburn, in the 6th, and Ventrell Miller, the linebacker from Florida, in the 7th. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll be doing more mock drafts of each NFL team shortly. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on the Sports 2 Hunt Show.